Hey, what's going on, beautiful people? I hope you're having a great day. We're going to talk about the June astrology and energy that's going on for 2023. And we have a lot of shifting energy going on. And it's going to be this month is all about transformation and transiting into this new chapter that we're all experiencing. Now, we start the month off. I can't seem to figure out how to put how to put the yeah, I can't seem to figure out how to put the charts up there. So I'm just going to go ahead and look at the charts on my computer. And we start the month off with the North Node conjunct exact to Jupiter. So this is making everything big. And the North Node is the uncomfortable places that we're going and that we're feeling like we really need to let go of. We need to let go of the past. We're clearing up the past. And of course, we have Pluto coming back into Capricorn here on June 11th. And so it's like we have one foot in this new place and we have one foot in the old place. And that one foot in the old place, almost like it's turning into lava, right? It's like we're having to face and feel this new stuff, and it's not comfortable. We're not going to really feel this comfort anymore, period. And we have to get used to that. So anything that you used to do, right? Especially if it's any kind of dysfunctional dysfunctional coping mechanisms are really coming up to be expressed. And like, say, like, I don't know, you used to like to drink, or you used to, just escape. Any kind of escapism that's coming up is going to be really being looked at with under the microscope and showing us that, hey, this is no longer good for us. All right, we have to really step into our power. But in order to do that, we have to take full responsibility. So any kind of victim consciousness, any kind of stuff that's going on that's making us feel kind of weird, we have to sort of settle and surrender into that discomfort because it's just not working for us anymore. Okay. Also, too, this month, Neptune and Saturn will be going retrograde, and they're both in Pisces. So Saturn, of course, is, for the last 6 months, whatever karma that we've accrued, good karma or not so good karma, meaning that not good karma is more about, if we're not operating in our highest vibrational good, if we have any coping mechanisms, those are going to be really coming up here for the next 6 months. And we have Mercury that's going to be conjuncting to Uranus here on June 4th, which is right after the next day, actually the same day as this full moon in Sagittarius, which I made a whole other video on that as well. This is clearing out the blockages of our expansion that we want to create. Okay. Chiron is going to be coming into 19 degrees, which we haven't seen before. And it's almost at the second decan, but it's going to go ahead and retrograde before it gets there. But the big thing is here, Pluto going retrograde. It's going to be still squaring the nodes here for the next 6 months. And it's going to be in Capricorn for the rest of the year. So we can get ready for that. Now, we also have Venus that's going to be opposing Pluto on the 5th, right after this full moon. So we can expect a lot of shifting, a lot of changing, a lot of growth, a lot of expansion. And Venus opposed Pluto is looking at, like where we are resisting the abundance, where we don't feel abundant, where we're feeling, like that our heart needs to be in it more. So the universe is going to be pushing us into these places of, where we need to go into it more. Neptune getting ready to go retrograde at 27 degrees. We haven't seen this in our lifetime, guys. So, Neptune and Saturn we're building up over this next 2-year cycle of really stepping into this new chapter. It's really important not to get caught up in all the stuff that's going on in the world. Okay. What's up, Queen City Chris and Tabby Kathy? How you guys doing? Yes, there's a whole new life that's waiting for us, really asking us to step into it. And especially with Jupiter now, that's going to be in Taurus. Taurus is grounded, right? It's about the delay of instant gratification for the bigger picture. The South Node is still in Scorpio. Okay, so finishing up in Scorpio, like this is looking at our deep wounds. This is looking at our sexuality. We have three different layers or types of identity. We have our spiritual identity, our sexual identity, and our ego identity. How we come out into the world, and all of those are going through a massive reconstruction phase for the foreseeable future. So this, and we're also coming into retrograde season with Saturn and Neptune. I believe Chiron is actually going retrograde this month too. Let's see exactly when that's going to happen. It's at 19 degrees. Let's see. Okay, no, it's going to be going next month, not this month. Okay, so we don't have to worry about that right now. But Saturn is a big one. Saturn is going to go back to 0 degrees of Pisces. So this first 7 degrees, this is bringing up like the very beginnings of the identity of our mutability, of the shifting of our consciousness. Okay. But also don't forget too that Pluto is coming back to 27 degrees, which is the place of the US Pluto return. So it's interesting that we haven't really seen a whole lot of people standing up yet. But I tell you what, in this next 6 months, we're experiencing a lot of activation. All these activations, because all these things are coming out right now, about seeing the injustices, seeing where things are just not right. And it almost feels like, really? You serious? You guys think you can get away with this shit? And we're going to be getting divine downloads. There's a lot of divine intervention happening here coming through. So, this month, allow these new downloads, allow these new parts of ourselves to activate, to clear out, and to really step into it. Mercury is going to come into Gemini on the 11th when Pluto goes into Capricorn. On the 17th, we have a new moon at 26 degrees of Gemini. So we're now fully into this eclipse season. And, don't forget the nodes during this eclipse season are coming into a new nodal axis. So right now it's finishing up. It's like the last part of like the toothpaste, container. We're getting all like we're checking and balancing all of our blind spots. And as these blind spots are identified, it's important not to let the triggers control you, but to learn how to control your emotions. It's about, especially the lesson for really next year with Pluto and Aquarius is healthy detachment from all the triggers. So I'm seeing like certain people are just living in their triggers. This is where the universe is saying it's time to raise your vibration. There is no more time to deal with and, kind of stay in that lower vibration. It's time to raise it. Okay. It's like we don't have a choice, but do we really want a choice? Right? Like, so the universe is saying, like, let's go, guys, come on. And the chosen ones, if you're a chosen one, if you're watching this, you probably are. Right. And when I say chosen ones, I mean the ones that are the star seeds, the the light workers, the rainbow warriors, people that are highly empathic, are being downloaded with more instructions, more guidance to step into your abilities, your extrasensory perceptions. Psychic capacities are going to also be coming online much stronger. And as those psychic abilities are coming online, it can be very uncomfortable. You can be feeling some weird stuff going on. You start seeing visions, start having really crazy dreams, start getting these knowings in your heart that I just gotta go this way. I can't stay here anymore, right? And Jupiter is going to be hanging out around the North Node here pretty much all month. It's going to be, let's see, it's going to be going up to. It's actually the North Node is coming by the end of the month. The North Node will be at 1 degree and Jupiter will be at 9 degrees. So it's right now, literally today, in the next couple days, we're getting infused with all this newness, all this new energy. And now this new energy, it's like, all right, now it's time to take shape. Now it's time to move into this new place. And Venus is getting real close to Mars. Now, Venus is not going to connect to Mars because Venus is slowing down to go retrograde next month in July 22nd, I believe. July is going to be a crazy, crazy month of really fully, like, the pimples popped, and now the pus, and now we got to clean it up, and now we got to really like get ready for the healing process. But there's going to be yods all month long. There's literally only one day next month where there is not a yod. Very powerful, very profound energies. But we had Mars retrograde this past December into January. I'm sorry, October into January, and and before that we had the 40-day, 40-night Venus retrograde. But now this Venus retrograde coming up next month is gonna be huge, and I'm going to talk about that quite a bit in later videos. But that one is ending an 8-year cycle. So think back to 2015 and see where you're at there. And I feel like we're really learning how to love ourselves. And so before you can fully step into the self-love, you have to address all the things that were not conducive to the self-love, meaning holding you back from fully accepting yourself. So all the weirdness that's in our consciousness, we have to accept that as like that's our gift. But a lot of times the gift doesn't feel like a gift until we move through the dark part of it. And really it's about accepting and allowing the darkness to be okay. On the 21st, we have the sun coming into Cancer. So happy birthday to all you Cancers out there. And then 26th, Mercury goes into Cancer. And then on the 30th, Neptune goes retrograde while Mercury is going to be Cazimi to the sun in Cancer. So, when these planets are going retrograde or direct, okay, but right now we're stepping further into retrograde season. We're going to have, I think, 6 or 7, if you count Chiron, planets retrograde at any given time for the foreseeable summer season anyways. So we've opened up and started this new foundation. And in this new foundation, now we got to clear out the old stuff. It's like we're getting all the instructions to pour the new the new foundation, right? Like, say we're building a house. The energetic house is our new life. And it's a 20-year cycle. We're starting the 20-year cycle of Pluto and Aquarius, and we're also going through a 20-year cycle of the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, which was at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So all this new Aquarian energy, we're predominantly shifting from a feminine energy on the transpersonal level to a more masculine energy. And every human being out there has masculine and feminine energy and qualities. It drives me nuts, man, to see these people talking about, well, I'm a man, I'm masculine, and I'm a woman, I'm feminine. No, we all have masculine and feminine properties, and we all have to access the higher vibration of both of those energies, because that's how things come into its full alignment, right? So a lot of acceptance, a lot of surrender. Then from that acceptance, surrender, taking charge and stepping into that new level or layer of who we're meant to be. And a lot of people that don't feel like they have a life purpose right now, like there's those that feel like they have a life purpose, and getting like my life purpose has taken on a whole deeper level of a meaning. The people that don't feel like they have a life purpose feel very lost right now, and they need guidance. They need direction. So we need to be empathic yet structured with how we want to, like, how are we going to guide, how are we going to be a leader in our own lives? We're coming into needing to be the CEO of our own life. And that requires taking responsibility. Now, responsibility is the antithesis of victimhood. Okay. So any kind of parts of ourselves that are victims are coming up. But what can also happen is we can feel overwhelmed. And with this overwhelming feeling, it can seem we can seek the distraction. We can feed into illusions or stories that we create in our mind. And that is where people are going to start having a really rough time, especially if feel like they're stuck in bad relationships, if they're stuck in a job, if they're stuck in a situation in their life. The reality is that nobody's stuck. Okay. You're making a choice to stay in a place, and the universe is asking you to step up, to shift. And this could change your lifestyle. This could change your life practice. This could change all the creature comforts that you have in your life are going to go goodbye. And that the point of that, because look, even if you try to do something or experience something just to take the edge off, it's not going to take the edge off because we're so connected. There's such a thin veil right now that it's like even when we're in that distracted state, say you're drinking or doing drugs or something, it's going to last like this, and then the repercussions are going to last like this, right? So you might as well just stay, like, it's very important to stay present right now and stay sober. I cannot emphasize that enough. But with Uranus being conjunct Mercury here, it's now out of shadow. And because it's out of shadow, now we're communicating in a whole new way, a whole new level. And when Mercury conjuncts Uranus at 20 degrees, actually, yeah, okay, at 20 degrees. This is the starting of the new decan, Uranus at 20 degrees. The last time it was here was when World War II started, right? And with the sun in Gemini, the sun in Gemini is, very cerebral, very mental, back and forth, up and down, very dualistic. Okay, once the sun gets into Cancer, that's when we're just going to be experiencing more of the emotional stuff. But still, we're finishing up this nodal axis, and this is mastery. This is asking us to master this version of our life, which is very fixed, right? It's like part of us, like, I don't want to go. And then a part of us, like, but I have to. I know in my heart this is right, but in this right direction, this right place, it feels very uncomfortable. And it's making me like realize that I got to do some shit that I don't really want to do. But if you have the courage, if you have the faith, if you have the support, people that make you feel good, maybe the people that make you feel alive and supported and safe. The big thing is safe. Life does not feel safe right now. And a lot of people corroborate safety with comfort, right? But now that's being separated. There is no safety along with comfort. So even when you're safe, you're still going to feel uncomfortable, but you got to move through it. This is like spiritual boot camp for the collective. And we're all making a choice this year. And unfortunately, our soul is making this decision now. It's like deeper than our ego. So say I actually, I know a couple people, they're addicts. And, they were sober for, a while. And then suddenly I'm just going to go out and have some fun. But it's like now we don't have the same temperance system in our consciousness, so we can go too far and OD, you're going to start seeing ODs everywhere, especially with all these crazy new drugs out there. It's scary. It's like right now is not a time to be doing drugs. Okay, Tabby Kathy, you're lost for sure. Well, let's get a reading. Let's help you find some clarity and find some guidance. But the big thing is we need to create and build community. That's exactly what I'm planning on doing out here. I'm getting everything set up in the Palm Springs area, but it's going to expand quickly. But we need to be a part of something bigger than ourselves because, we're being attacked from all angles. We have to start to create our own ecosystems, schools, growing our own food, right? Supporting each other, moving through all this shadow work. Because right now, it's not even like the shadow work should have been done in like the last 15 years. Like that was Pluto and Capricorn. Now it's like it's time to step out in the world and trust and have faith. So June is going to be a very powerful time of really seeing what we need to let go of, understanding where our future is calling us, and all the things that are not meant to be in our lives are going to be right in our face. It's going to be so obvious, and it's going to require us to have to let go of that little last cord, that little last bit that's just hanging on. That's like we're at 99%. In June into July is going to bring us into through that last 1%, which is usually the most difficult. But it's only difficult if you're trying to control it or if you're trying to understand it. There's a lot of things that are not going to make logical sense, but you just know you have a feeling that something's going to change. Okay, so step into what is changing naturally. Anything that has resistance is probably not for you, right? Honor G, very nice. The deeper message and the deeper lesson here is to trust and follow your heart. Now, if you're like me or anybody else alive right now, you've had a lot of trauma in the heart, and that's where fear sits. That's where the resistance sits. But if you if you learn to feel that darkness and instead of fighting it, instead of getting angry at it, instead of like feeling not good enough, like no, I can't. You gotta you gotta get away from that energy. You gotta get away from that experience, and that may mean that you gotta go live on your friend's couch for a little while, or you gotta leave a job and you don't know what you're gonna do for money. All right, but you want to figure you want to go into what feels right to you, but you may have to do some exploration out there, right? Is it just me, my end, or your website link doesn't work for me when I click it? Tabby, go to my Instagram at bio_wizard_, and you can click on my Linktree right there. I'm still doing a lot of recalibration on my website, so that's not ready to go just yet. Okay, so go to my Instagram for now, and you can get a hold of me that way. Or here, I'm going to put my email on the chat, and you can go ahead and email me. All right, you can email me there, and we can connect, and I'll be happy to work with you and help you out. Okay. So on the 17th, literally the same day as a new moon as well, Saturn is going to go retrograde. So when Saturn is the slowest, that's when like things are going to feel very karmic. Things are going to feel, it's just remember, whatever is happening, it's happening for you, not to you. Okay. If you can just break this video down into one phase or one expression, whatever's happening is happening for you, not to you. And it's saying, hey, it's time to grow up. You got to really connect to that inner child, and you got to trust it and try to learn to have fun along the way. Like when I wake up in the morning, no matter how I'm feeling, all right, some days I wake up, I'm tired, I feel rough. So some nights I have a hard time sleeping. That's all these solar flares coming up and whatnot, because our DNA is changing, it's shifting, right? As our DNA changes and shifts, we have to give ourselves enough time to heal, but also take the action, in a way that even if we're not feeling up to it, we have the ability. We just got to make it happen. And once you take that step in faith, the universe is going to meet you there. And it's kind of like, was it one of the Indiana Jones movies when he has to get one of the trinkets that he's getting in one of his movies? There's like this space where he has to trust that, somehow something's going to show up and help him get across. So he takes the first step, and it looks like he's going to fall into a pit of lava, but suddenly an invisible step is just there, right? Because he trusted and he had faith, which is the same kind of thing that is happening right now. If you take a step into the unknown, knowing that you're following your heart, the universe is going to match you halfway. And each time you do that, you build a little bit of confidence, you build more trust, and it comes along and helps you grow and helps you really gain that knowing in your heart. All right. And the heart-based living is the fifth dimension, is the higher vibration. The control, the ego, the mind, the fear-based stuff that following the powers that be, hey, they're creating problem, action, solution. So they're creating all this fear and saying, we'll take care of you, but you just have to do it this way. You have to get the shot. You have to do whatever it is that you have to do. And then that's the whole, you're going to own nothing and love it kind of scenario, which fuck that ain't for me. And that's why I've never blown up on here, because I speak the truth, and, people don't like that, but I don't give a shit, because whoever is meant to hear it for me is meant to hear it. All right. And of course, when Mercury comes in Gemini on the 11th, as Pluto's going back into Capricorn, Mercury rules Gemini. So that's when we're going to be feeling like, okay, like the information and communication is coming through solid. Am I going to trust it? All right. This is really all about reconnecting with the inner child, baby. And with Chiron, that's in Aries, that's the deep wound of our identity of who am I? Right. So our ego is all going through an evolution, and the evolution is activating our DNA, and our DNA is bringing up all this, even past life trauma and stuff that, like, where the hell is this coming from? I don't know what's going on. It's so weird. But fuck it. Chuck it in the fucking bucket. It doesn't matter. Let it go. All right. So I hope that helps. You're welcome, Tabby. I hope that helps. And you guys, please like, share, and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And I'll see y'all on the next video. I'm going to try doing more lives on here on YouTube. Still figuring out the live scenario on here. But yeah, I'm kind of shifting from Instagram over to YouTube fully because I just not really a big fan of Instagram anymore. You know what I mean? So I love you all very much. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next video.